Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first official episode of Take Two Podcast. We got the Frame Brothers here. I'm Jameson, along with Brother Reed. Today, we're going to be talking the NFC West, our favorite division, because we're both very big homie Seahawks fans. We're going to dive into how we think the teams are going to do throughout the season, their record, how they're going to make playoffs, that kind of thing, and then touch base on draft picks, and then new kind of offseason acquisitions and go from there. I'll let Reed kick her off and we can get underway.
All right, so we're gonna start with the Seahawks right away.
Love it.
Biggest thing about the Seahawks, I think, is that new coaching staff. Pete Carroll getting fired, Mike McDonald coming in from the Ravens.
Did he really get fired though? I mean, he kind of just resigned, right?
Fired, resigned, whatever you want to call it. Still, whatever you want to call Pete Carroll is. Mike McDonald coming in, youngest head coach in the NFL. Coming from the Ravens, great mind. I think this guy has a lot of potential to be a great head coach.
Yep.
I think season outlook on this team, it's a young team. You could say this team has an extremely bright future. I have them going 10-7. I could see it going complete opposite. I could see them going 7-10. Right. I think this could be a boom or bust year for the Seahawks. I think there's a lot of unknown going into this year. How many years do you have left with Geno? It's just a lot of unknown with the Seahawks, but I feel like at that core, there's a lot of future there. A lot of young talent. I mean, you look at DK Metcalf, big guy, a lot of potential. Super excited. I, for one, love him. Will defend that guy with my life, but he really hasn't turned out to be much, right? Ty Lockett ended his career. JSN, huge upside. I'm excited to see what he is this year. Sleeper fantasy pick, in my opinion. I love JSN.
I think he'll be he'll make a big jump this year, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I think touching base on that coaching staff, like you said, I mean, none of those guys have worked together previously. I think potentially Mike McDonald and Jay Harbaugh worked together in Michigan, but you got Ryan Grubb at offensive coordinator, and Aiden Dirt. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, at defensive coordinator. I mean, none of these guys have worked together before, so they're kind of making it up on the fly. And from all accounts, from interviews and the reports at mini camps and stuff like that, it sounds like there's great energy and a very exciting team put together. Like you said, young. You got the question marks about quarterback with Geno Smith and Sam Howell, and it sounds like they just added PJ Walker at quarterback, the third string. So yeah, exciting times to be a Seahawks fan. I can say that firsthand. I got us going 9-8 this year and missing the playoffs. So I think it's gonna be a building block year for the Seahawks. Young talent gonna develop, build off the next year. Yeah, really exciting stuff, I think.
If you speak of young talent, if you're looking for young talent in a dynasty fantasy league, talking fantasy here, take a Seahawks player. You got JSN, you got DK Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Sam Howell, sleeper pick. I think he might start middle year, end of year, next year. Either way, I feel like he could really blossom into a good quarterback. And I think he's this team's future. If you look at this draft class, they did not take a quarterback with a single pick, right?
Right.
I, for one, as a Seahawks fan, thought we were going to take Joe Milton, late round, Jordan Travis,
project type quarterback,
a young project type quarterback, but we didn't. So I think Sam Howell might be this team's future, and I like Sam Howell. He can sling it. Might not be able to take care of the ball as much as we would like. A lot of turnovers at Washington last year, but I really like Sam Howell. He's got a little bit of mobility to him. He's a well-rounded guy, a good project that we could turn into a guy.
Yeah, I think in all accounts, from all the interviews and reports that I've heard on Sam Howell, it sounds like a lot of potential there. But kind of a baller kind of guy. He's competitive. He wants to win. I think the turnover things can be taught. I think Geno Smith is kind of a great mentor in that. I mean, he had the best completion percentage and just taking care of the ball the last couple of years. So if anybody's going to teach him how to do that, I think it's Geno, and this coaching staff's going to get it right by that. So I think I agree. I think he's their plan for the long-term quarterback, whether that be 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I don't know. My guess is this is Geno's last year, and then they'll kind of move on to Sam Howell.
And I think that offensive line is getting Sam Howell. When he comes in, I think that offensive line will give Sam Howell great opportunity. You look at that offensive line, bookend tackles in Abraham Lucas, Charles Cross, great guys. Then you go inside. They have a lot of underrated guys. Third round this year, they took Christian Haynes out of UConn.
Yep.
Big guy.
Big guy. Yep.
Yeah, I really like this guy. He could definitely get a starting spot. I also like Anthony Bradford. I know your opinion is you don't think he's going to start this year, but I think he is. All right. I like this guy. He's big, good run blocker. I'm a big Anthony Bradford, Christian Haynes guy for our inside guys this year.
He's just a road grader. I think from what I read today on the mini camp reports, it sounds like Lakeland Tomlinson is kind of locked down the left guard spot over there for him, which leaves the competition with Christian Haynes, who I eventually will, in my opinion, will be the starter at the right guard position long term, or they might even flip him over to the left guard after this year. But yeah, it's going to be a mixture of Anthony Bradford battling it out with Christian Haynes, who I think Christian Haynes is definitely going to win that battle, and he's going to be the future over there for us. So big fan of Christian Haynes. I think Byron Murphy is an absolute tank on the defensive side of the ball, big bowling ball over there. I mean, what else can you compare him to looking at him and how his play style is? I mean, Aaron Donald, I mean, that's high praise for anybody, but I think he can potentially live up to it if he keeps his head down and keeps motivating himself.
Just to imagine this guy, right? Measurables. We got 6 foot,
Yep.
300 pounds.
He's undersized too, they say.
Yeah. Runs a 4.8740 at 300 pounds.
Yep.
And he benches 225 for 28 reps.
Monster. I love
this guy's a freak.
Yeah.
One of a kind, in my opinion. You relate him to Aaron Donald? Hot take, he's going to be better than Aaron Donald. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's Steve.
I'm kidding. All right. Brian Murphy will be a top 10 interior defensive lineman in 2 years. That's my take.
I like it. I can get him out of worth it.
I really like this guy. You say he's undersized. Okay. Crawl through the center's legs. That's what I say.
Well, Puna 4 was a couple of years back. He was an undrafted guy, but he was undersized. He made stuff happen too, so it can be done.
Moving to the secondary of that defense, secondary. You got Devon Witherspoon, explosive pick last year. Love that guy, great tackler. Looks like has the tackling ability of a linebacker, has the coverage ability of a corner. Just a great all-around player. Exciting to watch. Reek Woolen, the Flash, fast as he's just fast. Kind of had a down year last year, but I think this year could be a good year for him. Another 2-pick, 3-pick season. I don't think he'll ever get back to that 6, 7-pick season like he did his rookie year, but I think he'll always have turnovers just because of his speed. That safety room, losing Jamal Adams, losing Quandre Diggs, you lose 2 veteran safeties that have been there for a while. I'm looking here, and they don't take a safety in their draft class. They do take 2 corners, but really, in my opinion, corner isn't a big need for him. DJ James out of Auburn, good slot guy, giving that third corner a run, letting Spoon lock it down, and then giving us a third corner. But no safety really taken in the draft class. They did sign Jenkins, the Jags safety, I believe.
Yep, and Kevon Wallace, who can he's got a versatile kind of guy. He can play nickel, safety. He can play all over the field. So, I mean, I'm really excited about the defensive backs on the Seahawks. You got 3 solid, basically starting corners. I mean, Trey Brown's kind of an underrated guy, but he can lock it down over. I think his PFF rating was among the top of the league last year in man-to-man coverage. So he could definitely hold his own out there. You got depth in Michael Jackson. Like you brought up the safeties. You got Jenkins, Kevon Wallace. Cody Barton, who I'm a big fan of. I know you're a big fan of him as well. He's kind of an underrated guy. Most people don't know.
Kobe Bryant.
My bad. Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say? Parkinson?
Cody Barton.
Barton. I'll call back to that guy. I liked him too. Julian Love is the other one. I mean, he can fly over the field. A true free safety back there. So big fan of this defensive backs. I mean, I love the linebacker depth that they got. Bringing up Tyrese Knight, another one of the rookies who I think is their long-term solution at linebacker as long as he pans out. But yeah, big things, exciting building blocks for the Seahawks. I don't anticipate them making a far run or even making the playoffs, in my opinion. But I could be pleasantly surprised by that for sure.
I have them making the playoffs, not making a deep run this year. But I think this is a building block year. I think all this team really needs is time. You got a lot of young talent. Time, develop these guys. I could see a Super Bowl run in the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I definitely could see this out of the Seahawks.
I love it.
Moving on to the team that could make a Super Bowl run at any time and has been making Super Bowl runs for the past 5 years, I feel like, is the 49ers. Powerhouse of a team.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan just can't get over that hump, can he?
No.
Which I'm perfectly fine with. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
go ahead.
I have them going 14-3.
I got 13-4, so I got them losing just one more game. I got them being the 3 seed. I don't have them winning at all. I got them making the NFC Championship game and then losing it again. So
I have that exact same thing, was in the NFC Championship game.
just can't get there. Brock
Yeah.
Purdy's not the guy.
Brock Purdy not the guy?
He's
System
not the
QB?
guy.
He's
Not
not
the
the
guy.
guy.
System QB.
I think you could throw any QB back there and he's going to be lighting it up with those many weapons. I mean, you look at that offense is stacked.
No, it's awesome.
CMC just got signed to that humongous contract. You got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. I know there's been trade rumors about those guys. Oh, they're still amazing. Deebo Samuel, slot menace, just scary when that guy's in the slot. Brandon Ayuk, an underrated receiver in my opinion. I've liked him since his rookie year out of Arizona State. I think Brandon Ayuk goes under the radar every year. I think he could top 20, top 15. I think he's underrated. And then they take Ricky Pearsall with their first round pick this year. Another
He's
guy
gonna
that yeah, he's big, he's fast, good route runner. He's could go for a number 3 wide receiver spot here, especially if Deebo or Brandon gets traded. They get value for Deebo and Brandon. Then Ricky Pearsall is that next guy up, and I think he could be a replacement for them. I think he can be the next step for him.
Yeah, I think one of those guys gets traded this season. I don't know if it'll be right away or the season starts. I don't know if it's before week 9. I think 100% they drafted Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing to be kind of the fill-in guys. I know you're not a big fan of Cowing, but I definitely think that was their mindset going in is, you don't want to be here. You don't want to try to make a Super Bowl run. Fine, we'll trade you out here. We'll get some more assets and we'll draft your replacements and we'll do it without you. So
Yeah, you talk about how I don't like Jacob Cowing. I'm not the biggest fan. I think if they are going to trade a guy and they like Jacob Cowing, they're going to go then trade Deebo because of Jacob Cowing's speed or size. I think he's limited to the slot. I don't think he can really be an outside guy. And since Deebo does most of his work in the slot, they would have to trade Deebo for Jacob Cowing to fit in this scheme. But again, I don't see Jacob Cowing turning out. I do see Ricky Pearsall turning out. And I see them trading, like you said, Deebo or Brandon Ayuk, and then Ricky Pearsall goes into that number 2 spot. And another good pick for his fantasy, if you want fantasy advice, Ricky Pearsall could be a good pick. Might not be early in the year, but I think he definitely will blossom into a good wide receiver as the year goes on.
yeah, I think sleeper pick for sure. The other guys that I really liked was Puny. Puny's a big road grader kind of guard. I mean, he's the same kind of guy as Christian Haynes. He can get the job done for you. I think he's definitely the future guard for them. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. My dog's going crazy over here.
Yeah,
Isaac Guerrero was a surprising pick to me. You got Christian McCaffrey, who, in my opinion, best running back in the NFL. He just got paid like he was for sure. But why draft a running back when you got Elijah Mitchell? You got some other depth pieces at running back. I just feel like you could have gone elsewhere with a 4th-round pick to help your team better than that. So
yeah.
I don't think you'll see the field anytime soon. So definitely not worth any fantasy value there unless a bunch of injuries stack up.
Another guy to watch on the defensive side of the ball that they drafted is Malik Mustafa out of Wake Forest, safety.
Yep.
I like this kid. This kid is strong for a safety. Great tackler. He's a little small height wise, but he makes up for it in his weight and his strength. 22 reps of 225 at the combine. I think he's explosive. He's fun to watch. He kind of has a similar play style to Devon Witherspoon tackling wise, just hits you. He has some ball skills. He's a good coverage safety, but I think his biggest strength is definitely hitting you and tackling you, and I think that's makes him fun to watch. And I think he could definitely be a sleeper, some guy to watch in this defense.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. They got some decent depth pieces in the later rounds, filling out their roster. They took a cornerback in the 2nd round who, by all accounts, is going to make a run to help their depth at the right corner slot. So he's going to have a chance to compete for a starting role right away. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just the juggernaut of the 49ers continues, right? I mean, they keep going on. They still got the linebacker duo of Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I mean, we're going to have to see how long Greenlaw takes to get back to full strength. But when he's healthy, he's a force to be reckoned with. They also got a couple pass rushers. Leonard Floyd signed this offseason, and they got Malik Collins, who's more of a nose tackle kind of guy. But still, it's gonna be hard to play against for sure.
Don't forget about the big name of Nick Bosa. I mean,
Yeah,
guy's monster.
yeah.
And
Need
then
need this to say, right?
yeah. Um the one question I have is corners. You got Trevarius Ward. He's underrated guy. He's big. He's watching him go against DK. I think they're a perfect match just with their size. They're like I feel like they're the same guy. One's just playing wide receiver, one's playing corner.
Yeah,
But then
size and
they're
length they match up
yeah,
well. Yeah,
their second round pick though, Renardo Green out of Florida State. Uh, he's physical. He plays physical. He likes to press you off that line. He makes contact on the line. And I think that could get him in trouble in the NFL. I mean, there's a big difference between wide receivers getting off the line in college and in the NFL. I think that's pretty obvious.
right.
But if he could move his contact play to the NFL and actually get people off the line, he could definitely be a number 3, number 2 guy for the 49ers. He's a little undersized and he's not too fast, but he does make up for it for that pressing ability. And I think this guy could definitely be a goal line corner just to not let you get off the line, jam you up, just throw you off. I think he could be underrated. He could also, I think this is a boomer bust pick for a second round. I think personally, I think he'll turn out. I like him a lot, but I could also see the argument that he's too physical. He's not fast enough to make up for that. So
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be counting on him to start right away. And with a second round pick, you got those expectations in there for you. So I did agree. I think it's going to either be he's going to be a hit for him and he's going to be good for a while, or he's just going to be a complete bust and nobody's going to know about him in the next 2 years. So I guess we're going to find out. I mean, Seahawks are going to give him a run for their money. He's going to have to guard good old Marvin Harrison over there on the Cardinals this year. And I don't know. We're going to play it by ear.
yeah, moving to the Cardinals. This team, I think I'm underestimating it that they're atrocious. Atrocious. This team needs work, right? I think you look at the roster coming into it, is their best player on the team rookie Marvin Harrison?
No, come on now.
I mean,
I
can
mean, he
you
will
name me?
be. I
He
don't think he
will
will be
be.
this.
He will be, but I honestly, is there much talent on this team? Like, there's not really a big name. You got Call of Duty Kyler, right?
Big
Hey,
fan
he
of
might
yours.
he might not be able to throw the ball, but he can give you the best MP5 build on COD. So he's got you there. Big names, Buda Baker, but is he gone? Is he gonna leave?
Yeah, he's kind of well that, and I think he's kind of on the downslope of his career. I mean, he
Yeah,
was great. Now, it could be that, or he's just given up on his team. I mean, the team has been hot garbage the last couple of years.
I will. I do love watching the Seahawks pound them every year, though. So I'm not complaining that
Right.
they're garbage. But that, like I said, Marvin Harrison, generational talent, right? Going number 4. I see why you got three teams ahead of you that were quarterback needed or quarterback. They needed a quarterback badly, but Marvin Harrison ultimately could he be the best wide receiver of all time?
I don't know about all time, but he's definitely on track to be a Hall of Famer by all accounts from what we've seen in the college round. I mean, I for one, if we were talking going back to fantasy, I'm snagging Marvin Harrison, first overall pick. He's mine. I don't need no Caleb Williams.
I mean, he's got the size, he's got the speed, he's
The
got
route
the
running, the hands. I
knowledge,
mean,
he's
he's
got the
got it.
route running. He's an all around talent, generational talent. That's what that means. He's the best wide receiver I think we've seen come out of a draft in a long time, in 10 years probably. I mean, I don't think I've seen a wide receiver go this high. None of them come to mind. I mean, I think he's set up great. Maybe he would need a better quarterback, maybe one that might need to be a little taller or maybe tucks the ball away and doesn't run around like he's Chucky. But Um, I think he's set up great here, and he's just a great wide receiver talent.
Yeah, I think it'll work out with him and Kyler. I know you're not a huge fan of Kyler, but he's definitely gonna make it work. I mean, well, I guess let's hit your opinion. What do you got for Kyler Murray? I know you're a big fan of the guy.
I don't actually hate him that much. I like making fun of him just because he's been in the media a lot, but I don't think he's this team's guy. I think he's too short. He's way too injury prone, right? Here, I'll give you two quarterbacks right here. Um, One is Kyler Murray. You probably know that, but these are their 2020 stats because that's the last time Kyler Murray played a full season. Just so you know, that's how injury prone this guy is.
Right.
Okay. So, he attempted 558 passes, completed 375 of them. That's Kyler Murray. The other, I'm not going to name him just so you don't know him.
No, all right.
The other quarterback attempts 481 passes, and he completed 315. Yards, Kyler had 3,971. The other quarterback had 3,819. Touchdowns, Kyler had 26, and the other one had 33. Then, what?
How many wins did they have?
I don't have that.
That's
I can look
fine.
it up. Interceptions, Kyler had 12. The other one had 7. Right? You're going to want to take QBB, right?
Yeah, by all accounts, the stats you're telling me that you're getting a better quarterback with QBB.
QBB's Ryan Tannehill on the Titans, and of course, all the one's Kyler Murray. Now, if I'm looking at it, I'm going to take Kyler Murray just by the big name. He's got mobility, right? But just the fact that I feel like Ryan Tannehill outperformed Kyler Murray in his last full season, you could argue Ryan Tannehill had a better team, but did he really have that much of better of a team? The 2020 Titans. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I get your point. I mean, I'm really not that opposed to Kyler. I think he's an explosive player. He's not as consistent as one would like, obviously. I think unfortunately he's going to be the team's short term future just because of that contract. I mean, unless you're pulling a Broncos, you're not going to just eat that contract and dish him out. You know what I mean? So I think for the very short term, we're talking probably 2-3 years, he'll be the guy, and then I think they'll probably end up moving on from him, going to somewhere else. Um, have you seen this offensive line that the Cardinals have put together? All right,
I haven't.
I'll list these names for you. Tell me how much you like this offensive line. You got Paris Johnson over there on left tackle, right?
All right.
Young developing
Yeah,
tackle.
I like
You
him. I like him.
you got Evan Brown at left guard. He was the Seahawks
Yeah.
center/guard last year. You got I don't even know if I'm gonna try and pronounce the center's name. Froholt. Froholt. He's a center from the Browns last year. You got Will Hernandez from the Giants at right
Yep.
guard, who I'm not a fan of at all. I haven't seen much of great news from him. And then you got the right tackle, Jonah Williams, from Cincinnati, who is a guard, but probably better fit at, or he's a tackle, but probably a better fit at guard, but he wanted to get paid like a tackle. So they're gonna stick him over there at right tackle. I am not a fan of this offensive line whatsoever. I was a sleeper on James Conner this year, and I'm still a sleeper on Trey Benson, who they got in the 3rd round. I think he's a great stash for dynasty football leagues. You pick him up, you let him sit for a year, and he could be the guy potentially next year. But talking fantasy, I thought James Conner was going to be one of those sleeper guys this year who was going to have a quietly good year. But I think I might change that opinion right now looking at this offensive line. I don't think that's going to be working for them at all.
Going off what you said about Trey Benson, I love this kid. I think so. As you know, I am one that called Kyren Williams coming out of nowhere. Right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, we know. Here we go.
Yeah. You never hear the end of that. I did call Kyren Williams out of nowhere. On my fantasy team now, he's starting. Love the guy. Dog. I have the same feeling that I had about Kyren Williams about Trey Benson. I like him. He's fast. He's good weight. His measurables are what you'd call a prototypical running back. He's what you would want in a running back. I think sitting behind James Conner this year, I think he could learn maybe a little bit from James Conner, not much. James Conner is a good running back. I don't know if he's really top tier elite.
He's getting up there in age too.
He's getting up there. Yeah, he's had a good career. He's been good, but I think he's starting to end. He's going towards the end of his career, and Trey Benson is that replacement guy, and I think he will take that spot to maybe towards the end of this year. Maybe James Conner gets hurt, and it's like that Kenneth Walker to Rashad Penny type thing where Rashad Penny losses when Kenneth Walker came in.
Yep.
James Conner could get hurt. Trey Benson comes in, and James Conner never gets that spot back. Trey Benson, the instant he gets on this field, I don't think he will come off that field.
No, it's gonna be like a Jahmyr Gibbs type situation. I mean, not in play style, but is in he got on the field, he made some explosive plays, and teams like, wow, this is the guy. I 100% agree. I think Benson's going to be their guy full term next year. Big fan of this guy. I'm going to be stashing him in any fantasy league that I can get my hands on him for sure.
I definitely agree. Trey Benson, washout. Once this team actually gets a line that he can run behind, once this team actually becomes decently good, could get 6 wins in a season, I think Trey Benson could be a good running back 1, running back 2 in fantasy. You're in a dynasty league, I'd stash him on your bench for a little bit. Next year, you know it. Now he's sitting in your flex spot scoring you 13 a game, sitting in your RB2 spot scoring 15 a game. I think Trey Benson could definitely be the future running back of this team and the future running back of your fantasy team.
Yeah, I mean, the other rookies that they drafted, honorable mentions, you got Darius Robinson, who's going to be competing at their defensive end / outside linebacker, edge rusher type slot. He's going to be competing right away. There's 2nd round pick and Max Melt in the corner. Just looking at their depth chart, he's going to be competing for their best corner on their team right off the rip. I mean, Sean Murphy Bunting, you got Starling Thomas, you got Elijah Jones, another rookie. I mean, those are their 4 corners. I'm not. I guess you got Garrett Williams in the slot too. I mean, this isn't a very promising team. I mean, I have them going 7-10, and I think that's a very generous 7-10. I think they sneak away a couple wins maybe later in the season when teams kind of have stuff wrapped up, things like that. Sneak away a couple of wins that they shouldn't win. I have zero faith in the Cardinals this year. I think their only bright spots are going to be Marvin Harrison, potentially Trey Benson if he can get on the field. You might show flashes for some rookies here and there. Maybe Kyler makes a couple Sports Center type plays to get on, sell some jerseys. But other than that, I mean, this is one of those teams that are going to be fighting over the number 1 pick, potentially.
I was a little less generous when I was predicting them. I have them going 5-12. Like you said, atrocious season, fighting for that number 1 spot. There's really nothing
there's nothing to be excited about. I mean,
when the Cardinals are on, I'm like, oh, let's watch the Cardinals. No, I'm sitting there watching Marvin Harrison cook this DB that he's on. I'm not watching the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. It's gonna be a rough one for Cardinals fans. I'm just hoping the Seahawks can pull away 2 wins on them. That'd be one in my book.
That'd be great. Moving to the Rams. I feel like the Rams are a lot of unknown in this division, in this conference. The biggest thing about the Rams is that Aaron Donald retirement. Arguably the best defensive player of all time. I think you have to put him in your top 3. I honestly think he's the best of all time. I also grew up watching him. I didn't really watch like Lawrence Taylor or like Ray Lewis or any of them, but I grew up watching Aaron. I watched Aaron Donald growing up, and I think he's the best defensive player of all time. The impact he had on opposing teams, if you left him one-on-one, he was coming after your quarterback within seconds. You double teamed him. Now he's opening up spots for his other teammates. You don't want to face Aaron Donald.
No, I'm with you. I think, Aaron Donald was a menace. Every time you played him, he was always in the backfield. Even if he wasn't recording stats on a stat sheet, I mean, he was getting double teamed every play. So teams are always having to account for him. I think the Rams tried to replace him with a committee of defensive players. I mean, if you look at their draft, they went defense. Was that 5 out of their top 6 players in the draft? I mean, you got Jared Verse, who went off the board. Then you got Braden Fisk, who's a defensive tackle. You got Brennan Jackson in the 5th round. I mean, that's a late pick, but he's an edge rusher. You got in the 6th round, you got Tyler Davis. So I mean, your 4 out of your top 6 picks are all defensive line. I mean, you're definitely trying to establish a rotation of guys that are going to try and take on this workload and keep them fresh to try and get after the quarterback, like to even emulate, part of what Aaron Donald was given to your team. So, I mean, that's a huge blow to lose that guy like that. Absolutely.
Talking about replacements for Aaron Donald, yeah, I don't think you can replace him. I mean, Byron Murphy, of course, could replace him, but like
Yeah.
the Seahawks got him. But Jared Verse, great defensive end, great pick. I love this pick out of him. He's this, I would say he's elite. He's an elite edge rusher, 6'4", 250, amazing speed at 4.58 40, and he got 225 for 31 reps.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a bust.
Oh, okay. Okay. Whatever you say. I think I think if I had to compare him to someone in the league, I would think about TJ Wattish. I think
Ooh, wow, you were giving this guy some high praise.
I like Jared Verse. Florida State. I think he could definitely be this team's future on that defensive line. I think Kobe Turner, another underrated guy. I think they took him in the 5th round last year. Or yeah, I think it was last year. But he came out of nowhere and he turned into a good defensive lineman. I think this defensive line could be scary even without Aaron Donald.
You got Byron Young, who's another young outside linebacker, edge rusher kind of guy. He had a very good young season last year. Kobe Turner is another one of those guys. So just like I was just talking about the rotation of guys, you got young talent, guys who are trying to prove themselves, and they have plenty of opportunity now that you're opening up another spot.
Yeah, talking about nose tackle, Tyler Davis out of Clemson.
Yep.
I got high praise for this guy. Might be Clemson homer. I'm a Clemson fan. Love anyone out of Clemson, but he's 300, 6'2". This guy is there to stop the run. He will fill those 2 middle gaps and make you bounce it outside, make you, at least you're not running behind that center, right? This guy's
Right.
massive. He might not be making plays, but like we said, Aaron Donald getting double teamed. He wasn't putting up the stats. He's opening up for his teammates. I think that's what Tyler Davis could do. He's gonna get that nose tackle, and he's gonna open up for Kobe Turner. He's gonna open up for Byron Young. He's gonna open up for Jared Verse to make their plays and let them be the players that they can be when they don't need to worry about those 2 middle gaps. They can worry about getting to the quarterback. They can worry about shutting down the run on the outside. Right. I think
Yeah,
he could definitely add. Right. I think he could definitely add a lot of flexibility to this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you need those guys. You need guys that can suck up some blocks so that the other people can get to the ball. I mean, it's not a flashy play or position to do, but I mean, it's definitely essential to win games. So if he can come in and at least do that and have it be a role play for this team, I mean, that's all anybody can ask for.
Yeah, definitely. That secondary, there's not really many big names in the secondary, right? It's a lot of underrated guys, very mid guys. I do like their pick in the 3rd round of Kamara Kitchens out of Miami. Guy's a ball hawk. He's playing safety. He's out there to get picks, and I love it. He's fun to watch. He plays like he is the receiver. He's running the route for the receiver. He's going to where the ball is going to be. Great speed at 4.65. Or no, not great speed. Sorry, bad speed at 4.65. He's slower than Jared Verse. But I think that's really what brought him down on the board, why they could get him in the 3rd round. Everything else I think is amazing. It's just that speed. I think we saw this a few years ago in Kyle Hamilton that made him drop too. Guy's a great safety now, but they didn't really like him because of his speed. And I think this guy could be another Kyle Hamilton type player.
I think a lot of what happened with Kyle Hamilton falling was teams couldn't justify paying him that much. The rookie salaries at that high getting drafted. Obviously, Baltimore has a very different opinion on that since he's been crazy good for him. Touching base on these corners, I mean, I am of the complete opposite. I think that they put together a very underrated defensive back room. You get Darius Williams, who started out on the Rams, went over to Jacksonville, and now has come back. Kind of an under the radar kind of guy. He's a baller. You got Tre'Davious White, who came over from Buffalo after he got cut. He's now their other corner. So I mean, you got 2 decent corners there. Cameron Curl signed from Washington, who's a very solid safety. Russ Yeast, I can't say a whole lot about it. I don't know much about him. And then Cameron Kitchens, like you were just talking about. So I mean, those guys I think can put some together, especially if they can get a pass rush going. I mean, they're not gonna have to cover for a super long time if Braden Fisk is in your face or Jared Verse is coming around the edge, pressuring the quarterback, getting him out of the pocket. So Um, I'm as much as I hate to say it, I'm very kind of excited to watch this Rams team because I think they're going to be doing a lot better than people think. I got to make the playoffs as a wild card team at 10-6. Um, I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, or maybe not, but nonetheless,
10-6.
10-6.
That's 16 games.
Oh my god! Oh, must have missed one. 11 and
Uh,
11-6, 10-7, something like that.
I have them going
Let's
6-11.
go.
I'm the complete opposite. I like this team. I think they're in the same boat as the Seahawks. Lot good future, especially on that defensive line. I think this defensive line could be the best defensive line in the next few years. But I don't know if this is their year. 6-11 for I got them going 6-11. Next year, watch out for the Rams is all I'm gonna say. I don't know how
You got
Trey
the
Davies.
Rams winning one more game than the Cardinals.
Yeah, I do.
That's there's no way. I don't. The Rams are
I might
so
be a
much
little
better than the
biased. I might
Cardinals.
be a little biased. I don't want the Rams to win. All right. But I mean, it's a good team. I don't know how Tre'Davious White flew over my head. I guess oblivious, but um, I switched to that offense now. The defense is good, but we haven't talked much about that offense. The offense is what I don't like. I don't know if that's a high-powered enough offense where they can put up 21 points in the game. I mean, Kyrie
How many years of
Williams,
Stafford got left?
Stafford's got 2 more years left. That's my
Two.
prediction.
That's what I was gonna say. Two. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't
he's
have
got
a
two
backup
more.
plan at quarterback either.
Stenson Bennett.
I no, that ain't it, Chief. Look,
But
I think Matthew Stafford can get it done. I mean, we're not talking about winning a Super Bowl. I mean, we're talking about they're going to be middle of the road team. They're going to sneak in as a wild card, maybe win one game in the playoffs. Otherwise, they'll probably get bounced first round. I mean, they have, um, their wide receivers. I mean, Demarcus Robinson, meh. Puka Nacua, I mean, still unproven. He had one good rookie year that came out of nowhere. Exciting to watch. No, everybody agrees there. Cooper Kupp, who had that great season, but I mean, it was just a lot of numbers. Great slot receiver, though. I mean, you're not a fan of him, but I mean, he gets the job done. I don't know why you're hating on the guy so much. He can get
I
open.
don't like Cooper Kupp. Don't like Cooper
He just
Kupp.
gets like 17 catches in a game. Like nobody can cover him. He gets open. That's all you need.
I'm pulling up his stats right now. So I don't remember. I don't know if you remember, but when he had that triple crown season where people were like, he's the best in the game. He's the number one wide receiver. No, he's not top 5. He's not top 10. I would argue he might not even be top 15.
Dude, nobody could cover him though. He was getting 15 catches a game. I mean,
Matthew
somebody's going to
Stafford
get
made his
15
career.
catches a game if somebody's locking him down.
Matthew Stafford is the reason he did that.
Matthew Stafford's running the routes for him.
No, Matthew Stafford is the reason he's successful. Before Matthew Stafford, he wasn't good.
Dude, you gotta check his highlights, dude. That season was still
His
incredible. I don't
highlights.
care what anybody can hate on him all you want. He was getting open, he's
You know,
making plays, he's getting
you
yards,
know
he's
why
getting.
they call it the highlights? Because they're his best plays. That's why
Well,
it's
look
called
at
the
his worst
highlights.
plays. He's still good. He's still open.
No, looking at his stats right now. So 2021 is his triple crown season. That's his first season with Matthew Stafford. Season
Yep.
before Matthew Stafford didn't make it over 1,000 yards. Only had 3 touchdowns. He played 15 games. 3
Yep.
touchdowns, not even over 1,000 yards. I would not call that a top 15 season.
He was learning.
He was learning.
Give the guy his sophomore year. Give the guy some time to figure it out. He
That
did.
was his 4th year.
Oh, I thought you said he was second year. Second year with Stafford,
No,
is
it
what you
was
said?
year before Stafford came.
Okay.
Yeah. Year 2019, his 3rd year, he did make it over 1,000 yards. He actually had a pretty decent year. I'll give him that. Year before that, he only played 8 games, injury prone. He's not that injury prone. Just can't get on the field like that year.
Just being a
Rookie,
hater.
I am his hater. Rookie season, 15 games played, 869 yards, 5 touchdowns. He is a rookie. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Was learning there. He's still not top 15. If I hear someone call him top 15 wide receiver, I'm going to lose my mind. He's not top
So
15.
here's the thing. I respect the seasons he had. Um, I'm not going to go out on the limb and say he's top 5, top 10, top 15. He had a great season. You can't take that away from him. but I will say that I do not trust him in fantasy from that perspective. I'm not going out to trade for him. Even if somebody offers me at a discount, I just don't. I don't trust the guy to get the numbers that he got that season. I think it was kind of a one-off season that everybody can look back on and say that was a great season. But I think get to kind of leave that one where it was. So I
Um,
agree. He's not going to do it again, most likely, but he's still a solid receiver that you can count on.
you can call this a hot take. I think Puka Nacua right now is a better wide receiver than Cooper Kupp right now is.
I think I'm more of a hater on Puka Nacua than a lot of people.
Really? Why?
I just,
Tell me about your hate on Puka Nacua then.
I mean, it's not as much hate. It's just like you get one decent season in the same basically position as what Cooper Kupp had his great season in. I think it's more of like a scheme than it is anything. And we were talking about Brock Purdy being a system quarterback. I mean, Sean McVay's scheming open receivers over here in Los Angeles.
Sean McVay is an offensive mastermind.
Nah, he's crazy good. I mean, nothing against Puka Nacua, but I just don't think he's amazing. I'm
I
not painting MVP for Brock Purdy either, though.
I would say Puka Nacua is I would agree with you. He's not like the best, but I still think he's better than Cooper Kupp. I think he's better than Cooper Kupp. I think a lot of people are better than Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp he's good. I'll give him that. He is good. He's not elite. He's not elite.
Hating on a lot of people.
Yeah. If back to that Rams offense, enough about the wide receiver room. Just makes me mad thinking about it.
Went off on a tangent there. All right.
Yeah. Running back room. I like one guy in it, Kyrie Williams, my guy.
Your guy, I know.
My guy. Then they take Blake Corum in the third round. I hate this pick.
I thought it was just way too high. He had the production. You mean he's undersized? I mean what does that mean anymore? I don't know. I just don't understand why getting away from handing the ball to Kyrie. Turn around, hand it to him, let him pound the rock.
Give him the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah, well, I mean you don't want to kill the guy, but I just don't think Blake Corum is the level of running back that Kyrie Williams is. I mean, what are you gaining from a Blake Corum type running back? You trying to split carries, and it doesn't really make sense to me.
You could look at him in the receiving aspect, but Kyron Williams can catch the ball. He's not a bad receiver, right? Blake
Yeah, I
Corum.
don't think so.
Blake Corum is undersized, 5'8", right? We got Deuce Vaughn 2.0. I'm kidding. But runs a 4.53 40. I kind of want my running back to be a little faster than that, in my opinion. Something that does stand out, and I respect it. 27 reps at 225. That's good. That's what I would want in my running back. He's strong.
Better than Joe Alt, baby.
Okay. Joel's a monster. Don't be dissing Joe Alt.
I wasn't dissing him.
I just don't see the logic in this pick. Kyrie Williams is a dog. I love Kyrie Williams, and I don't want Blake Corum taking away Kyrie Williams. I could be biased because he's on my fantasy team. Rams, if you watch this, give Kyrie Williams 40 touches a game, please.
Okay, lobbying for fantasy now. I hear. All right.
I need a win.
No, I think I'm not seeing the whole logic in the running back position. It's kind of like the 49ers with Isaac Rendo. I don't know what you're gaining from the pick. Could have went somewhere else. I guess it's just a position of need. Maybe need overran, best available player, or maybe they just went for best available player and he was at the top of their list. Obviously, we don't know how it fell in, but I don't anticipate Blake Corum being really a factor at all on this team. Maybe special teams, I guess. I don't know.
Special teams, let me tell you. Best pick the Rams ever had, Joshua Cardi. Justin Tucker, 2.0, right here. No.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He's a good kicker. I'll give him that. He hit one from 61 yards. That's a long distance, especially in college. He's a good kicker, especially coming from last year where Brett Maher wasn't great. They had a lot of kicking problems.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
I think this guy could be a long-term kicker for him, but of course it's a boring pick. Who wants to see their team take a kicker, right? Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited when the Seahawks got Michael Dixon as a punter. I think they got him in the fourth round. He's been a monster. So, I mean, it can be done. Next to Sebastian Janikowski or something like that,
Yeah. But Joshua Card, it's a good pick. I like it. He's a good kicker. He solved a problem that you had. You got him be able to kick in this league. I think Justin Tucker, greatest kicker of all time. I think you can say
Oh,
that. Yeah. Yeah,
amazing.
look what he's done for the Ravens. Whenever the Ravens are whenever they're on their side of the field, they're within the 50, that's almost like a guaranteed 3 points, right?
Yeah,
That's
he
great
does
in
it.
this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
If you have a good kicker, you can win games.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that kind of rounds out the NFC West. You got our opinions on the teams. You got our likes, dislikes. Um, yeah, I think 49ers are going to run the division for another year. Rams and Seahawks are going to fight for the middle spots, and then Cardinals are gonna take a seat at the bottom per usual.
Yeah, it's classic Cardinals, right?
Classic Cardinals. Well, that
Well,
was I think that's all I had. Had a lot of fun. We'll be back next week. Take Two podcast with the Frame Brothers. I'll catch you next time, and we'll touch base on another division and go from there.
see you later. Thank you for watching.
All right, peace out, everybody.